Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to day whatever of me hanging out in the camper with a bad back.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
It's not so bad though. It's finally getting to where I can get up, which I have been able to do the last couple days, but actually move around to some extent without it necessarily hurting. Again, just real tender and no fast movement, that kind of thing. It's just a back injury. Like I said, it'll go back to normal eventually. So today, well, starting last night, the rain, and it's just rained and rained and rained, sometimes really heavy. Not thunderstorms, but pretty good downpours. Still nothing severe. And I've checked the windows. I checked them at about 1 a.m. I checked them again about 4 a.m. this morning because I'm up. And then I just checked them now, and the windows are sealed. The kitchen window and the back window. I don't even have to put silicone on them or a sealant of any kind. So we're in good shape there. And as far as the front cabinet in the corner, it must have just been humidity. I'm pretty darn sure, though, I'm almost positive that at some point, either during the tour that we took or us talking with someone, that they finish off that front of the RV. They put in the foam block in between the aluminum frame, and then they put the Luan. They put Luan on the front to finish it off. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works up there. So as far as insulation, I thought it was insulated, but maybe it's a corner that just doesn't get insulated well enough. But we haven't had any moisture in there since, so I really not sure what happened, but it hasn't been real cold either. Speaking of which, I'm not going to really be able to do, or we're not really going to be able to do anything with the RV today and getting it ready and all that stuff to head out of here because I'm still at limited capacity here as far as what I can get done. So I think Heidi, she'll be finishing out the basement, which we'll go take a look at that. And starting tomorrow, we have temperatures, kind of freaky temperatures. I think we have first day 69, the next day after that's like 73, and the next day after that's like 74, 75. That's not normal for around here, so during those times will be perfect for us to be working outside. One thing I didn't talk about with you guys is the brakes on the RV. I did not have the dealer look at the brakes on the RV, and the reason that I didn't was because I did all that troubleshooting, and I kept on coming back to the fact that all the brakes weren't getting electricity equally, and I didn't know why. Again, if you guys aren't familiar with it, there's only two wires that run from the tongue of the trailer. Those two wires come back and connect to all four brakes. They split it off, they branch it off. I was trying to figure out why would I not get as much electricity. What would cause that? Well, the only thing that's changed is when we're plugging in and unplugging. That's the only thing that really could change, unless a wire lost connection, which it didn't, or something's wearing out, which didn't. I figured it had to be electricity. So the way the factory truck, and a lot of brake controllers work for that matter, is you can have the initial boost of voltage that goes to your trailer be handled two different ways. You can either have a boost and the trailer gets a pretty good boost at the beginning, and then it tapers off and matches what is necessary. That's what a lot of the Prodigy to Concha brake controllers do. they'll give you a boost of electricity at first, and then they back it off and then match whatever your pedal is. Or, like in the Ford's case, they give very little electricity to the back at first until your pedal is being applied for a certain amount of time. And I know an accelerometer is involved there too, but at some point then it starts juicing up the back end. I took my 7-pin connector, and I looked at all the connections, and although it's a new connector, I mean it's as old as the RV, I noticed that a couple of them were spread a little bit further out than the rest, as if they weren't going to grab the tongue, the male portion of the plug as much inside the truck receptacle. So I went ahead and I just moved all those plugs, those tangs, with my finger. I just kind of pushed them all back close together, plugged in the truck, and that was it. I couldn't get that back tire to slide. And I mean, I did a lot. I was on the expressway doing like 60, and I reached down my brake controller, and at full boost 10, I squeezed it, and the brakes just really pulled down hard, but they pulled down hard equally. None of them slid. You had a oh kind of oh sound, but it was all equal. Then I did that at a slow pace. I did it to repeat exactly what happened before, and I couldn't get it to do it at like coming to a stop sign, kind of like a fast stop. I went ahead and pushed the brake real hard. I couldn't get it to lock up. It just stopped, just like normal. And again, I did it also through a parking lot. I went ahead and took that brake controller and I moved the levers together, squeezed it to put brake pressure to the back only, without braking on the trail or the truck at all. And I couldn't get it to squeal again. They all are trying to stop equally. So I think that was it. I think what it was is there was a lack of voltage on that initial input, and then whenever it kicked up to that higher voltage, it just got sent to, there's only so much voltage available, and the brakes that got it were the ones that were relatively close to the initial source of the power, and all the rest of the brakes just didn't have enough. When you have low voltage, funny things happen when you have low voltage, and that's on everything. So as far as I can tell, that is solved. And I didn't update you guys on that on the last video. I forgot. But it is fixed for the time being, and same with the windows. I haven't seen anything that tells me they're not fixed. So let me go ahead and roll out into this rain, and we'll go check out what Heidi's doing. Let's see what Heidi's been doing down here. I was killing my legs and my back trying to do this with the camera. Steps are still a little bit of a challenge here, especially these really steep steps. They're really a challenge. Alright, so let's see what Heidi's been doing down here. A lot of painting. There's a couple of spots there that she's got dry lock on, or dry plug on. Just part of the painting process, because that has always been kind of low there. And the water comes in a little bit, whenever it rains, but so far so good. It looks pretty good. Yeah, the worst part about this is just the delay of game. I mean, I delayed the game with this stupid back injury. Oh, it's driving me crazy, because we should have been gone. Now, I'll make this promise to you guys. I'll make this promise to you. By the time this video is posted, we will have already left this area. Of course, this video is going to be over a few days here. We have those 3 warm days that's coming up. By then I should be recovered to the point where I can help a little bit more. And I can definitely drive. That's not an issue. I can definitely drive. I can sit no problem, and I can look and move, and I can sit in a seated position for some time. But yeah, as far as picking up and stuff like that, that's where we run into problems. I mean, if we got a flat tire, whatever, there's just only so much I can do, and I don't want to put that on Heidi. We have all kinds of roadside assistance, but nonetheless, I can drive. Let me just put it that way. I can drive. Good morning, YouTube. New day, new stuff to do. Heidi's smoking out here, and I got to make it down these steps. Let me turn you guys around and pick it up when I get to the bottom. Okay, that took 5 minutes. So, what's on the agenda for today?
Cleaning the basement out, or act like it's full of stuff.
So we found out a few things, which some of it we should have known, and some of it, I guess, we were just too dumb to even think about it. So we have these blue containers, these water jugs, and they hold 7 gallons.
But they're heavy.
But we thought it'd be a good idea to keep those in the RV and drink out of those instead of the 5-gallon water jug, because the 5-gallon water jug, although it served its purpose, seemed like it was always going and getting more water. So we thought, well, 7 gallons, maybe they'll make it last a little longer, at least seem like it's a little longer. But we have a problem.
It's too heavy.
Heidi can't carry those 7-gallon jugs.
I carry them for a short time, but I can't get up those 4 steps.
So what we're gonna have to do is go back to the 5-gallon water bottle, and then you use the 7-gallon jugs just to refill. And again, this is stuff that we didn't think about until I hurt my back. I moved them around there. I'd rather carry these 7 gallons than that stupid 5-gallon jug, because even though it's a little lighter, it ain't got no handle. The handle's on the side. Well, whenever we're transporting, going to transport mode and moving everything around inside the RV, well, you got to pick it up by the neck. You got to move it by the neck, and that's a lot harder for me to do, even if it's 5 gallons, than it is for this with the handle up on top. I know they make handles for those things, but anyways, that's one thing. The second thing that we're having a hard time with is it is not hot enough to run the air conditioner.
We have condensation.
It is so humid inside that RV. I got a couple photos here, and this is the way it's been for a few days. So we had all this stuff inside of our cabinets that were getting wet. We were having problems with the front cabinet where it faces the front of the RV, underneath the cap, in the corners where it was wet in there. I mean, it was wet. It was very wet, and we're thinking, oh great, we have a roof leak. But it didn't seem like a roof leak because it was wet across the large section of the board that's inside there. So then today, which we got that dried out, and we put a dehumidifier up there, and we left the cabinets open, we ran a fan, and it stayed dry. However, whenever I was screwing around trying to find my jacket, Heidi hung it up inside of our closet. Here is not only it's wet in the slide, the wardrobe slide, in the back right corner, which would be the front of the RV, but there's a puddle in there. There's literally a puddle of water in there. And again, it was down a large section, so it's all because of humidity and the temperature of what the walls are.
Dry, Florida.
Florida's not dry.
They said hot and dry. They said it's 6
Florida's
days
not,
ago.
okay.
For the winter.
She don't know what dry means in Florida. Florida's not dry. It has water all the way around it. It's like going in the bathroom with a full tub of water and saying, boy, this bathroom's awful dry.
But they said it was going to be hot and dry.
Well, it'll be hot and not rainy. But it won't be, the humidity will still be crazy. Well, there's a difference. You just said hot. So what happens whenever it's hot?
Moisture.
What happens when it's hot inside of our RV?
We put the air on.
And what does the air do?
Dries it.
It takes the moisture out, right? So that's the problem that we have here. It's not cold enough to run the air conditioner. And I said this in a previous video, I don't know how many years ago was that, with our old RV, the one where the lady complained about how tall the fire was.
Oh yeah.
So I mentioned in that video that I was wearing a jacket because it was so humid inside the RV. We had to run the air conditioner in temperatures like this. Like today is going to be 65. It's not. That's not air conditioned weather, but it's so humid in there we almost have to. And our door closes. You know why? Because the friction hinge failed. I'm still waiting for an answer, guys. Anybody knows how to repair their friction hinge on their doors? Even the dealer, whenever they were working on the windows, he opened the door and it closed behind him. And he says, "Well, I thought these were friction hinges." I said, "So did I." I said, "I don't know. It just stopped."
If it was me, I would say, well, let me fix that for you.
Yeah, well, if he has the time. Moisture is definitely an issue inside the RV. And we know. I mean, you guys don't have to tell us. We've had damp rid. We ran damp rid. We have to buy some more damp rid. We also have that little small dehumidifier, which does a really good job for how small it is. We also have, somebody mentioned charcoal and air freshener bags. We have those. We've had those. If you look in our videos at some point, if you ever see us walking through the bathroom, we have one hanging on a hook in the bathroom. They do okay, but I mean, we're talking about a lot of moisture. I mean, I just showed you guys the living area is at 82% humidity, and the bedroom's at 78, I think it is, percent humidity. The thing is we can dry it all out. I mean, it's not a big deal. What we'll do is we'll wait, and I think tomorrow we'll run the air conditioner. We have 2 days in the 70s, in the mid to upper 70s, which is like this major fluke at this point, which it happens in Ohio occasionally. And we're hoping to get out then when the cold front comes through. Again, I mentioned just in the last, I don't know, yesterday I guess it was, that during this video sometime you'll see us out of here. We'll be moving along. So today we got kind of a funny thing that we've got to do, and that is get the truck packed up, and I'm not able to pick up anything heavy. So I don't know how that's going to work. Our son's here. He said he would help out. He's just hanging out, biding his time. He's got some packages that he had delivered here, and he's just kind of decompressing from his trip. But he's ready to hit the road again, and so are we. Well, the lawn care came and got rid of all of our leaves for the most part. And are they mowing anymore?
Yeah. Says he's gonna be mulching.
Yeah.
Says he's not gathering any more leaves until the end.
Yeah.
I told him he didn't have to. He wanted to make our front yard look nice.
Oh, that's good. So this is the dealio. This is the finished product down here. The only thing we have to worry about is, well, actually nothing. We wow, Heidi did a good job in here. So we've got this big blue tote. We'll probably leave that. They can get rid of it if they want to. But yeah, the basement definitely, you did a really good job, Heidi, because it definitely looks a lot better in here. These are spare lights for all the fluorescents that we have. There's a spare water pump that's in that box. That this is the pump that gets rebuilt, and it's a really nice pump. That one back there is like a backup in case we get an emergency. But all this is finished. And then freezer room's all painted. Looks nice. Now our son did this, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, our son painted this for us. So yeah, this is it. This is all of it in a nutshell.
It doesn't look as creepy.
Yeah.
You know, basements are, a lot of times if they're not finished, they're creepy.
Right. So what's our plan?
We're getting out of here.
We are getting out of here. You want this door open?
No.
That's what I thought. You don't want it locked, do you?
No.
Boom, chakalaka. So, here's my plan. Today is a warm day. It's in the 60s, and there's no breeze. I'm trying to get up these steps without hurting myself again. Oy. And tomorrow again is supposed to be warm, and then the next day after that is supposed to be warm. Then on Saturday we plan on leaving, and the reason is because Saturday the high is only supposed to be like 54 degrees or 52 degrees. There's no reason for us to be here anymore other than getting loaded. So what do we do out here? Very little. I just put this on Facebook Marketplace because it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, if I can't lift it, I can't open it. Heidi can't lift it, can't open it when it's in the back. I don't even know why we have it. That was a decision that I made prior to this truck and this cap that just doesn't make any sense. The old truck, if you guys remember, whenever I bought that, I had our old F-250, and I had an aluminum ramp that I was going to use to winch up the Blue Boy when it was full. Well, none of that's happening anymore, and that box is kind of a remnant from that decision. So there's something you can take away from this. Don't make plans and buy stuff if you're not going to be going full-time immediately, because there's been quite a few things that I've done that I thought, oh yeah, that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect for when we go full-time, that'll be the perfect item. And then a bunch of changes happen over a multitude of years, and then it doesn't happen. And that item then becomes kind of useless. So that's what's going on there. And I'm sure I'm going to run into that more. But we're definitely streamlining, and what we're going to do is put most of this stuff in totes. We're just going to have it in totes in the back of the RV, the back of the truck. So let me get that rolling, and you guys can get an idea what it looks like if we can get that far. Good day, YouTube. It's still in the morning, isn't it? No, it's afternoon now. No, it's still morning.
I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, it's got to be real close to noon if it's not already.
Is. 10 minutes till.
Okay, so good morning. All that for good morning. So today is Thursday, and of course you're not watching it on Thursday, you're seeing it after the fact. But we've got a plan in place because of Step Up. That bicycle got shipped early. It's due in now the end of October instead of being shipped in November like they said. What a surprise. So I have like 5 to 7 days, I think 5 days, to get it once they attempt delivery. So what's that mean? Well, that means we have to get to our destination a lot sooner than we expected. So in that short time, we're using pretty much every avenue that we have. The only thing we're not using is a Good Sam discount somewhere. That's about the only thing. So again, leaving here, we're using free camping at Tamarack. We're using a Boondocker Welcome in South Carolina. We're using 1,000 Trails in South Carolina, and we're using a Passport America in Florida. And then we'll go on to our 1,000 Trails in Florida. We'll be there, or an Encore Park for a couple of weeks. Then we're going to an RPI resort for a week, a little over a week, and then we'll be at our 1,000 Trails for a month. So we're headed. Now, the best news of all, well, my back's still messed up. You can see that's why the truck isn't really loaded up there. We're going to get rid of that job box. One of our viewers, Steve Gavinaugh.
Oh, is he coming today or tomorrow?
He's coming today, as far as I know.
Uh-oh.
I think he said today.
Maybe we're not going anywhere.
No, well, Bud's here. If not, he calls us. We can give him the code for the garage.
Okay.
So, anyways, we're getting rid of that big job box because it doesn't make any sense. I can't lift it when it's full. I can't access it inside the bed when it's full because you can't open the lid all the way because that Lear locker's in the way. So there's no sense in having it. So we're going to put everything from it into totes, and probably just 2 totes, if that. So
Plus, some of the stuff is in totes that we can actually
right. We can just throw them in there. We have plenty of room from what I can tell so far. We'll see how that works out when stuff starts getting thrown in there. But the whole thing is we got to step it up. So we're going to go get the oil changed in the truck. We have a place that's local that you can bring in your own oil, your own filter, and they'll reduce the price and they'll change the oil for you, which that's what we're going to do.
I don't know how much they reduce the price,
Yeah.
but nonetheless.
Yeah.
We didn't have the filter, so we had to go to town anyway. So instead of him doing the oil change, they did the first oil change on our last truck. So
Yeah.
they might as well do it on this truck and
Right.
be done with it.
Exactly.
It actually don't even need changed, but we're just
Yeah,
doing
well,
it because
yeah, we don't know what might happen out there. We're over 4,000 miles. They say your oil changes at 10,000 miles. I'm sure that one day we might want to push that a little bit more, but not on the first amount of oil that's in the truck, because the oil that's in there right now is a semi-blend. It's not a full synthetic, and
but
that's
they still
yeah. They still say you can do it, semi-blends. Look into that. Do your own research and decide on yourself what you
yeah.
want to do.
Well, I think Ford says
Yeah.
for this
Ford,
these 7
right.
threes.
Ford says you can do
Or
a
actually
semi-blend.
on all of them.
Yeah, which is also funny. If anybody has a 2020 Super Duty, it doesn't make a difference what engine you have. 7 quarts of oil. So you can put that in your useless knowledge. If somebody comes up to you and say, I don't know how much oil my truck takes. If they say it's a 2020 and it's a Super Duty, doesn't make a difference what engine it is. It's 7 quarts. That's with the filter. All right, so we're out of here, and going to go get the oil changed, come back here, and start loading up the truck. Good morning. New day. Why didn't we update you yesterday? Well, because the truck didn't get loaded. It almost got loaded. It's real close.
It is real close.
We made some changes, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Steve Gavinaugh. Hey, Steve, how you doing? He stopped by. One of the reasons we made some changes. And we got some other stuff that kind of distracted us a little bit with the house. Just a little bit, though. So let's get you up to date. Other than, man, my back is killing me. And Heidi's back was hurting yesterday. And one of the guys that's helping us work on the house, which we'll go show you here in a second, his back was bothering him. We were all standing around in a circle, kind of all holding our backs.
We should have been somewhere warm.
Yeah.
Because it was a little cool.
It was late at night. Yeah, and we paid the price. I should have had the heating pad on last night because I couldn't even get out of bed, so I laid in on the heating pad for another 45 minutes, and then I actually could get out of bed, but it's tender. All right, let's show you what's happening out here. So first, let's give you the status on what's in here. Pretty full, pretty full. So what we're going to do today is reorganize this a little bit because there's too much weight on the left-hand side right now. And until we get both bikes in here, which the other bike is due to be delivered, that's kind of one of the reasons, we had to step up the game here. Until we have both bikes in here and the rest of the stuff that we're going to carry, that's just a little bit too much on that side. So we'll see how that gets organized. But you see what we have left here. No, this isn't everything that needs to go. What needs to go is the step, my impact gun, this propane tank, this small tote, the little tote with the fire extinguisher in it, the little gray tote, that goes at the end. Of course, Heidi's bike, our laundry cart that we will not give up, because that is, if you guys don't have one of these and you do campground camping, it's a good investment because you can just throw all your laundry in there and wheel it to wherever you need to go, and of course wheel it back. That if you guys go to the laundry, a lot of people don't do laundry in laundromats until they're on the road. In the laundromat's always a cart. There's always a cart rolling around that you can take your clothes from the washer and put them in the cart and roll them over to the dryer and throw them in the dryer, and then after, and then you leave your cart there by your dryer, and as the stuff comes out, you throw it all in the cart and then bring it over to the folding table and fold it, and then at that point you usually put it in your basket and bring it home. Well, in our case, if we're at a campground that has laundry facilities, this is that cart, and we can wheel it for a long ways. Just an idea. They're inexpensive. If you got the room for them, why not? So what's not going to end up going, our grill that came with the RV, like I mentioned before, Heidi doesn't want to use it, and it's just in our way. Our spare tire carrier that used to be on the back of the RV, the old bumper that we have, that's not going to be going. The spare tires in the back of the truck. And I think that's about it. Everything else is going to go. Where Heidi said to bring the wheel chocks just in case, because we have been in some boondocking situations where those come in handy. Of course, the gas cans will go because we need those for the generators. Just in case, there's no gas in them, but just in case we need some and we can't get to somewhere, we can just throw them back here. So you can see with that little bit that's left, you know, it gets a little bit tight back here. So what's not in here? Well, our big 10 by 10 canopy. Once we got it in here, we started doing some soul searching. It's like, do we really need this? When's the last time we used it when we went out camping? And it's been a while, guys. It's definitely been a while. So it's down at her mom's house. She's going to hang on to it. And if we decide we want it after we've been out for 6 months or so, then we can come back and get it and we'll find space for it. But if we don't want it, it can be donated to somebody else. So let's see what's inside here. Changes inside here. Here's our folding chair that was in the garage. Of course, here's the grill that we use all the time. Heidi's metal detector made it in here. And yeah, we got plenty of space for that big blue boy. So that 42-gallon blue boy fits in here just fine. What did we have to take out of here? Well, one tote, which is in the back of and we got rid of our folding zero gravity chairs. Now we love the zero gravity chairs to sit in. That's it. We don't like hauling them. We don't like unfolding them. We don't like folding them up. We don't like carrying them. We don't like trying to store them in here. We don't like trying to store them in the back of the truck. We love them when they're out and we're sitting in them, but that's it. All the other hassle to carry them and just deal with their size and their weight, it just wasn't worth it.
They're a bit of an inconvenience.
Yeah, so
for our setup anyway.
Those were sold immediately. Heidi got those sold on Facebook Marketplace. They were very, very nice. We paid about $100 a piece for them, and we sold them for $80 for the pair. So, like I said, they went away immediately. I don't know, maybe 2 hours at the most.
It was an hour, I think.
Okay. So this folding chair, we'll go back to this, and we've had this for, wow, I can't even, it's been on so many beaches, and I don't even know.
15 to 20 years.
Yeah, it's real close. It's got to be closer to 20 years. So it's still doing the job, and when that breaks, we'll get another one. Or maybe we'll get a couple smaller folding chairs that are separate. That's kind of like a love seat. So the other thing that we don't have, so Steve Gavinall come by and bought the big job box. I posted it on Facebook, and just so happens he had a job box just like that one. And he was just on Facebook Marketplace, and it popped up, and he goes, oh, hey, I was just thinking about buying one of these. Another one, a second one. And he says he clicked on this, who had it for sale, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe who it is. Steve don't live too far away. He's probably, what, 25 minutes away? So he was running some errands in Alliance, and he stopped by and picked that up. So the job box, of course, is not going in there. And I told you why. It wasn't feasible. That's why I'm walking around with needles stabbing me in my back because of that big thing. So we're in good shape. So what slowed us down yesterday? Well, we have our basement, thanks to Heidi, all painted up. But we still have some water that comes in underneath the paint job that she did. And we kind of always knew what the problem was, but we never really acted upon it. I looked at it 20 years ago when we first moved in the place, and then I just told her, I said, it's a mess, we'll have to address it some other time. And we just got used to it. That little bit of water that always came down in the basement, we always got used to it, so we just didn't care. If you look out here, we've got open house signs in addition to our for sale signs, because they're going to have an open house on Sunday. We're going to be gone, of course. But this is the dilemma that we have going here that slowed us down a little bit as we slowly make our way over. Here is the reason that it's always leaked.
there's a piece of tile that you can probably see in this pile of dirt right there, and it was all broken. So all the water that's coming out of our sump pump, that's what that hose is, that sump pump. That's where all of our dishwasher water used to come out. That's where all of the shower water came out. That's where all of the washing machine water used to come out. And also, you can see a pipe there. That also came from a location that had the kitchen sink come out there. And it all went into a broken tile. And that broken tile didn't allow the water to go into that pipe and then all the way out to the ditch. I'm not going to miss that engine brake stuff. I will never miss that. That's just disgusting. So we have a guy here that the guy that did all of our steps and our trim work and stuff inside the house. He dug all this up by hand, obviously, and he said that he's going to come back this morning and have this done by noon. And he's just getting a piece of pipe to create that now. Because our kitchen sink no longer comes in this direction, that pipe that's to the right of the white elbow, that doesn't need to be connected anymore. Nothing comes out of there. There's nothing that feeds into that broken tile anymore because it goes to the septic the way it should. So once this is finished, then we'll be good. We'll be in really good shape, because at that point the water that's coming in underneath the wall down there will no longer come in underneath the wall. So that's what slowed us down, that and our backs. I just can't hardly lift the stuff that I need to lift. Even though I was doing some lifting yesterday, I shouldn't have. So what do we expect? Well, we expect to be hooked up and leaving today. So I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see us shortly take the truck up once it's loaded, and we're going to get it weighed, because there is a lot of stuff in it, obviously. I'm going to show you this here. This is what it looks like inside here. Our solar panel, my bottle jack, the water softener, an extra water tote, nothing in there, and then tools. These are all tools from this point on. Tools that I'd use pretty regularly. So let's see here. Heidi's on the phone making reservations, or not reservations, but changes. One of the changes is our insurance. We have our house insured for a fully loaded house. I mean, I had $15,000 of contents inside the garage that was insured. Well, obviously I don't have nothing in there. In the house, the same thing. I think we had probably $20,000 inside the house for the contents. And of course we don't have but just our cameras and our router, wireless router. That's about it. So that also is going to get reduced. And even that shed, our shed that we used to have our riding lawnmower and our plow tractor in, and we also had, when we first moved in, a big go-kart, a big 12-horse Manco dual-seater adult-size go-kart, and we had that insured in there too. So the contents of that shed we had insured for, I think, $6,000. Of course, there's nothing in there now. It's, you know, some wood. That's about it. So they said that it would definitely reduce our rate, and we are now going to be insured for just the structures, the home, and flooding and stuff like that we already had. The other thing that I did was, if I haven't mentioned it yet, I turned down my internet. I went to vacation mode on my internet, so my internet is really slow, but it's just enough that we can monitor all our cameras and lights. So if you guys don't know about that and you are going to be gone for the winter, look into it. There's no sense in paying for high-speed internet if you're not going to be there. And they do have a plan, at least Spectrum does, that'll allow you to keep your cameras and everything running so you can monitor everything. So if we got anybody that walks and looks in the garage or even pulls in the driveway,
or walks up to our porch or our front window of our house or anything like that, I get alerts on my phone immediately, which it's kind of funny sometimes when we forget to turn it off. We get home from RVing and all the alerts are going off and it's triggered by us. So that's something to look for if you guys are doing that. And we canceled our trash service. We don't have any more trash, so there's really no need for it. Let me think. There was something else that we canceled. Something small. I can't recall. I can't remember what it was.
Internet.
I already talked about the internet. Heidi's helping me out there. I know yours was trash. And insurance. What was it? Insurance, trash, the internet. I don't know. There was one other thing, but I can't remember what it was. I won't remember this morning. I'm thinking about my back too much. Of course, our son's out in his van here. He's going to be here for a couple more days, I think, but he's wanting to head out before it gets cold. So let's talk about the weather real quick. We had a good, nice, sunny day yesterday. The high was in the mid to upper 70s. It was very comfortable. It was a cooler night. The night cooled down, and that's kind of, we were all out here talking, standing around talking, and my back started hurting. Like, maybe I shouldn't have been out here in the cold. Of course, I paid for it this morning. But then today we're having another day in the upper 70s. No real rain to speak of at all, and mostly sunny. As you can see, the sun's kind of coming up here. But tonight's where things get really bad. Our high tomorrow is in the upper 40s. They've lowered it, so it's supposed to be 49 for the high tomorrow. We're out of here. We are definitely leaving here today because I'm not going to experience that. So I think our son would probably be out of here too at that point. I'm not sure. He could probably go down to his grandma's for a while. So that's what we're doing. What will you see again? We'll load up the truck. We're going to finish loading it up. We'll go take it and get it weighed up at the scales, hopefully. And then when we get done with that, I'll come back. We'll get our RV ready for travel. We'll put some water in the freshwater tank. And then our black water tank we'll have to take down to the RV place. Down the street we'll have to pay to get our black tank emptied. And then we will, it's only $10. Then we'll take the truck and the trailer up to the scales and weigh them together. All right, so the deed is done. We still have some stuff here that's going to be left behind. All the totes, we'll leave those, they're empty. We didn't need them for the truck like we thought. This stuff that's on the table though, this is all going to Heidi's mom's house. Again, we're going to end up selling this grill or giving it to somebody or something. We were hoping to take it with us, and we have room to take it with us, but I just don't want to deal with it. I would love to be able to see somebody that's camping that has like a pop-up camper like we used to have, and they have that same rack on the outside that I had to install on our old Terry camper, and be able to tell them, hey, do you have a grill? Do you want one? Here you go. But that's not the case. All this stuff is going to our son-in-law and our daughter. This stuff, this row here, I guess you could say. And then the other thing that's going to go down to Heidi's mom's for us to hang on to is my spare tire, in case I need it. I don't know. I doubt I will. I'll try to sell it still. Maybe we'll tell them to drop it off somewhere. And unfortunately, the spare tire carrier for the 4-inch bumper. I've got one person that might be a good call for that, but I'll have to check with them to see if they want it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So what's the back of the truck look like? A lot better than I thought, and we still have room. The initial look on here, you're probably thinking, oh man, where's he going to put his bike at? I've got the room. We just kind of threw this last bit in here, let's say all willy-nilly, but we have the ability to put it up there, like that milk crate there. I'm thinking that's going to end up being a basket on the back of Heidi's bike. Oh, actually, I take that back. It's not going to be a basket on the back of Heidi's bike. So I'm going to take that out right now,
because we can't. It will hit the, tell you what, this Lear locker, it's holding a bunch of stuff, but it's also encroaching on the ability to carry these bikes. This is definitely the way to carry the bike for sure though, and my bike will also fit right next to hers once we move the stuff that's there out of the way and back over top where it was here. The extra propane tank, of course, for our grilling needs, and the extra gas tank, the little gas tank. There's a generator in that tote. Those things may disappear at some point. And I'm talking about that little Sportsman generator. I don't know if I'm going to have a need for it necessarily. Again, we'll figure that out as we go along. I think that it's going to be gone though. So if that's gone, then this little gas can will be gone, and the big gas can will stay with us if we have to boondock maybe. I mean, that's the only way that I'd have to be concerned about that. Having a bigger gas can, because the extended gas can that's on the in the generator box back there, that's 20 gallons. I'm sorry, 6 gallons. So it'll give us a lot of hours of use just off of it. So that's what we got going on. Again, streamlining, yeah, for sure. And then in the front of the, or I should say in the cab area, I'm glad we got a 4-door, because all the tools went in there, no problem. So we have plenty of room in there too. Again, I have a feeling that over the next few months, we're going to slowly be dwindling this stuff down and making it less and less. It's a heavy one, guys. How much do you think the truck weighs? So while you guys are guessing, let me give you a hint. So 7,500 is the weight that I normally travel at without, yeah, and that was without the hitch on the back also. That was without the hitch on the back. So how much do you think it weighs now that we're loaded up with all of our stuff? How much do you think the weight is of all our stuff? Let's have you guess that maybe. I'm looking at numbers, so you guys go ahead and guess. 2,100 pounds more. 9,720 basically. So 9,720 is what the truck weighs all by its lonesome. So like I said, it's over 2,000 pounds worth of crap in the truck that's ours. Now there's a lot of it on the rear axle, but because I have it also on the front there, I mean, that helps out a lot. So my rear axle rating, remember my payload could be 4,000 pounds combined overall. The rear axle weight, I didn't get that yet. I probably should have had them give me a rear axle weight while I was up there just to see what that was, but I don't think that I could go over, not with the payload that I have. Even if the tongue weight on this is, let's say 1,200 pounds, and let's say all 2,100 pounds was in the bed of the truck, we're still 3,300 pounds, something like that. And the rear axle weight rating is 7,450, I think. So, and the good news is the airbags right now, I'm only at 10 pounds. So I'm going to return the trailer to the height that it was whenever we unhitched it by using my LevelMate Pro. And at that point, we'll look at how far off we are, and I'll adjust the airbags to match kind of what the hitch is saying we should be at. And then we'll hook up, let it squat, and then do the weight distribution bars. Okay guys, so we went to the dump station here. We're all loaded up. We headed out of the driveway, and the truck was kind of sluggish, obviously, because we have this extra weight in the back, but it wasn't uncontrollable or anything. But I told Heidi, I said, boy, with the wind and everything, I said, it's going to be a little bit different of a ride with how much weight we have in here. And so I got here, I went ahead and put more air in the airbags just to see what that was like. And then I went ahead and took the sway bars, the load weight distribution bars, and went ahead and put them up another inch. So I'm running it where we always do at 7 inches on the jacks. So the black tank was really full. There was a lot in there. So as we drove down here,
I estimate at least 20, maybe 30 gallons of black was in the black tank, which it seems about right to me.
Yeah.
The gray tank was almost completely full. So that kind of constituted for the weight. So Heidi had asked me about the freshwater tank. She says, do we have some fresh water in there in case we want to wash our hands in that? I said, yeah. I said, I ran the fresh water for 4 minutes. So I have 4 minutes worth of fresh water that filled in the tank. And I said, that way we can wash our hands and flush the toilet or whatever we need to do. And she said, okay. And I said, it's funny because I went back to the gauge and I said, you know, these gauges are so off. It said our freshwater tank was full. And we laughed about it for a second. And then I thought, wait a minute, our son took a shower in our RV. And I told Heidi, I said, the only way it could be full is if Buddy, when he took a shower, he accidentally flipped that diverter valve. And Heidi's eyes kind of lit up and said, when I went in there, he had that valve.
It's like halfway.
He had it flipped the other way. And I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. I said, well, shit, that means the freshwater tank could literally be full. So we pulled the freshwater valve. It was full. So we had 60 gallons of fresh water, 40 gallons of gray water, and at least 20 gallons of black water when I towed down here. So now that the truck has got a little bit more airbag in it and a little bit more weight distribution, I don't even know what it's going to ride like, but holy cow, that was, I mean, the truck did pretty darn well considering that it had all that weight. All right, so we just got done with the weigh station and do some greasing and tire pressures and stuff. I went ahead and put less air in the airbags because of the fact that I was way heavier than I expected when I got down there. And I took an inch out of the weight distribution bars and it looks pretty good. We'll have to see how it feels. So anyways, basically, what do you guys think we weigh total? The truck and the trailer. Go ahead, guess.
Start typing.
So we went to Myrtle Beach, we weighed 16,590 pounds without Heidi in the car or in the truck, and we were still lacking a few things that we loaded up. Currently, we weigh 17,200 pounds with the truck and the trailer. So 17,200. So for everybody that was worried about us going over and being crazy weight and everything else, that's not the case at all.